Hi everyone, this is Ray Phillips of Precision Driving Analytics, and it's hard to believe, but 2024 is almost over, and figured this would be a good time to try to get another installment in of my video series for how to use VBox video software. So this is my third video, and today I'm going to talk about how to use the heat blocks, which can be really helpful on the videos. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my screen and bring up the Video VBox software. Okay, so this is the same scene that I was working with before. Um, and to bring up a heat block, it's pretty easy. Just click on the icon up here at the top there and say new, and that brings it up into left-hand corner. So one of the things that I really like to use these for is um, like engine temperature, oil temperature, that type of thing. So if I click on the heat block, I could change the parameter. And if you remember, we're using CAN channels from a Porsche Club Sport GT4 car. Um, so there is engine temperature there or coolant temperature. So that would be one of the things we could use it for. So I'm going to click on coolant temperature. Now, if you remember from the last video, in order to see what units the the coolant temperature is in, you can go to the settings. I can get it to click and and then find coolant temperature, which is right here. So that's in Celsius. Not a surprise since it's a Porsche. And certainly we can use Celsius, but us Americans like Fahrenheit. So if you want to change that to Fahrenheit, one thing you could do is create a math channel. So if you go to settings and math channels, you can see that combined G's are already there. So uh, you can create a new one and we can call it something like ECT Fahrenheit F, and then change the units to F Fahrenheit. Select your channel. So there's coolant temperature and multiply it by 1.8. And after you multiply it by 1.8, you want to add 32. So plus 32. And that should do it. So I'm going to say OK. And you can do a test on this. So I test it. I can plug in 0, and that should give me 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And it does. So we are good there. So if I go back to my scene, now instead of choosing the can coolant temperature, now I can choose the math channel. So math channels and ECTF. So now that's going to be, the channel that it's going to use to change colors. So if I want to say my max coolant temperature is going to be like 215, and let's make it like 220. Uh, so if we make it 220, the minimum is 0. Now we can put a test value in. So let's say it's 180, and that's orange, and that's okay. But let's say I want that to be green. Then what I would do is I would probably change this color to green, and maybe I'll change this one to a lighter blue. So now you can see that this color changed. So that is a green. That's fine. Um, so there's lots of ways to play around with this. 0 degrees Fahrenheit is pretty dang cold. So one thing I could do is change it to 32 freezing, but let's say we make it like 50, because an engine is certainly going to be running higher than 50 degrees. So now that actually gave us a better color green. So let's just try, let's say if we change the test value to 150, yeah, that's still good. I'd be happy with that. So the other cool thing about this is, like, if we have it at 70, then that shows you that the temperature is cold. So now if we start getting closer to the max, let's say we'd say 210, now that's in the orange range. Um, so that's good. So 200 we're probably okay with, but it's getting a little warm. 190, yep, that's still green. We're probably still okay there. 180 is the optimum. Perfect. I'm totally okay with that. Um, so that's how you kind of play around with the colors and everything. So when it's on the video, you can add a label, which we'll do, but you don't have to. You could just simply go by the color if you wanted to. So you can add a label to it. So to do that, you can click on the text and bring in the label. This label is black, which is fine. I'm okay with that. You can change the color over here, and you can change the size. But more importantly, I could change it to the math channel. And now it's only got one integer and two decimals. I don't really need the decimals for this. So I'm going to make those 0. And then I'm going to increase the integers to 3, because the max number of integers we're going to have is 3. If you get to 4, then bad things have already happened. um, so now it's set to combine G, but now I can change it to ECTF. Whoops, I should have done that ahead of time. 0. Okay, so now that's what we want. And it's not going to show the test value right now, but it'll show the correct value, when it starts getting the CAN information or the math channel information. And then you could put another label to call it ECT or something like that. So that's one example of how to use a heat block. Another cool way that I've used them is with tire pressure information, actually tire temperature. So if I add another heat block, again, new, bring that in. Let's say I want to change the shape to a square instead of a rectangle. So I could do that just by changing the shape. And let's just call this the left front. So I'm going to add a label, and that's fine. And I'll change the label name to LF. So there you go. Now, let's say we want to see what the units are for the tire pressure. I happen to know they're in bar. So if I go to CAN and just scroll down until I find tire pressures, there's a tire pressure. So it is in bar. So again, I want this in PSI. So I'll create another math channel. So I'll go to math channels and create new. And we'll call it left front PSI, and PSI of units. So my channel is going to be tire pressure, front left in this case, in bar. So I'm going to multiply that by 14.5, and that'll get me PSI. So, okay. So we could do a quick test, say it's 1, you don't have to change anything, and that gives me 14.5. So that's all good. So go back to my scene. So now again, I'm going to click on this and find the math channels and left front PSI. And now we can set up our colors. So I like to set it up such that it tells me, green when we're at the target pressure. So let's say our target pressure is 30. So I'll set the max to 30. And let's just see um, what comes up if I put in 30. It's going to end up being red. I can tell already. So yeah, that's not what I want. So one thing you can do, again, is set your max higher. So let's say we'll set the max to 40. That would be significantly over, um, the target. So now that gives us yellow, and that's fine. But let's make this one green, just like we did before. So our test value is 30, and that's giving us green, so that's good. Our minimum is 0, which is too low. So let's increase the minimum to say 20. And let's say that the test value ends up being 20. So now that gives us a dark blue, which is pretty good. So let's just um, go up, one at a time. So you can see that the blue is changing. So we're up to 25, 26, 27. So now we're in the green area. I'd probably be okay with that. So let's just keep going past 30. Let's say 31. Still okay. 32. Still green. That I don't like so much. So at this point, if I'm over my target, then I don't want it to keep showing green. I want it to start going to yellow, red, etc. So I'm going to continue to play around with this a little bit. So let's make this one orange. Okay. So let's see what we're at 30. Okay, we're still green there. Let's change this color a little bit. All right, so that didn't change a whole lot. Make it a darker blue. Um, let's see, let's make this more of a yellow. All right, so now that's back to a green, which is good. So let's do 31. That's probably still okay. 32, 33. Okay, so now we're in yellow area. So now it's going to start turning orange. Yeah, that's perfect. So now we know that we're over inflated on that tire, and we're seeing it on the video. So again, if it gets over 40, anything over 40 is going to end up being red. Um, so I think that works out pretty well. All right, so there you go. You can see how to use a heat block in two different fashions. One is the coolant temperature, so engine health values. Another one was tire pressure. You can also do tire temperature if you have those CAN channels, which actually the Club Sport does have those. Um, and probably my next video will be in 2025. So hopefully everyone has a happy new year, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Take care. Bye.